All right, so hopefully this is the last segment, okay? And this is the major scale horizontal stack. Now, believe it or not, this fits on the keyboard. If you find an R somewhere here, let's say we got 6 strings here, but say start on this R, it goes R to 4, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, guess what? This 4 isn't supposed to be there. I can tell you that much. That 4 is not part of that pattern. So that's another thing that I have to fix. We can go to a different chart. We certainly can, where we can find that long chart hopping here, chart surfing. It is back here. Oh, remember all this stuff? We talked about all this in these lessons before. Now, this is a wonderful trip through Chartland, but I'm not finding. Here it is. 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3. Yeah, in the dark there. So you can see this isn't brand new. I'm not throwing all these patterns at you at once. Now the pink is the same thing. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I just noticed that the piano, okay, in the Lydian mode itself, you have 1, 2, 3 whole steps in a row. Actually, 4. 1, 2, 3. You have 4 whole notes in a row, essentially. That's where your 3 black keys are. Surrounding those 3 black keys, or filling in, is 4 notes. Wow, you don't have that. Even in Do, Re, Mi, it's just... So that's really only 2 whole steps. You've got 3 whole steps here. And that's what your 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is essentially the Lydian mode. What does the Lydian mode sound like? Here's the Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian. Here comes the Lydian. Okay, that is this. So you look at this, you say, hey, there's 4 notes in a row. That's bad. No, it isn't. It's not. It's not tough. It's kind of a really beautiful augmented sound. It's really an augmented, because the 4th is, if you just go a straight 4th, it goes. Okay, but now it's going. It kind of has an inconclusive sound, almost like stepping out of the music. So how do we play that? And then we're going to pick up the root from above the 5, so it's. Okay, that is that pattern right there. I just played it. So that's where we're at. Let me just take a shortcut back to our main pattern here. Our main. So putting it all together, of course, remember the S2L and the S3S comes from the 7L. The 7L. Here's an S2L up here. Here's an S3S sharing a few notes with it there. And there's an S2L down here and an S3S right here. Put them all together, share a few notes, and you get the S3XL 567 root 2 3. 4, 5, 6 right there. Okay, that's the 7L pattern, and it exists, it lives in this, well, I guess we can't zoom way in on this, but it lives in the unwarped fretboard. All right, now it's easy to warp the unwarped fretboard. Okay, the 7L lives in this thing. I mean, it's like most of this. By the way, before we, you know what happens when I warp this, okay? The 3 goes over to here, and it'll be even. So you'll see 3 and 3 will be even. That'll be the fret nut. And all these see these broken fret nuts? That's because it's an unwarped. Okay, if I warp it over, all right, meaning, and then I'm gonna give it its box a home here, so it has to go about 2 of them past it. I didn't warp it carefully enough. That's you know, something that we want to do right. We want to warp it right. So now we want to line up these guys here. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. Right up to about here. Okay. This is what we're looking at right here, okay? We're looking at this guy right here. We just warped it. This is the warp fretboard. This is we have to bring this guy over here, right? This guy has to come over, so he would come over there too. Now, this right here is our main, it's our main fret nut. I know it's not perfectly lined up. This is our main fret nut right there. Now we've made a normal keyboard, a normal fretboard, right? Normal guitar. 3 would be E. It even looks like an E, right? But it's backwards. Root would be C. But isn't it true that in caged, C is the root there? Okay? It's just when you go to the other positions, the roots change. All right, that's the problem. But here is your first cage position is the C here. All right, so let's back out of all this and beep, 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 beep. So these are kind of unwarped. See how this guy goes here? This one belongs to this one. This top 2 strings hyper fret belongs to this one, and I thought it would be cute, you know, just to, but you see how this one, you know, it looks like a picket fence that's got pieces missing. So what do we got here? Just imaginarily, this is the unwarped, so we can only, you know, draw a hyper fret there, and then the other half would be there. When it warps over, you'll see a straight fret there, and then the root will be there. All right. This has everything. For instance, this one right here. Okay. So we want to draw right here. Let's suppose this was the fret. Now we all agree on something because we're not confusing these anymore. Although this comes from over here. So actually I drew it wrong. It goes like this. Let's see, why can't we get this guy to go away? Okay. All right, so here, I drew it wrong. It goes like this. For the 5, for the 5th, okay, it's unwarped. That's essentially what we're looking at. When we warp it over, it becomes a warped fretboard, just like your guitar. So that's it. Every one of these bars is like a hyper fret nut, and that's where you would start, and you get that mode on the caged first 3 or 4 frets, the open fretboard. That's